My computer has a virus, so I put a virus software thing in just a little while ago, and I keep hitting this clean thing. It's been like this for about the last 2 weeks. So I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like I think it's like a tablet thing where you got to get like a kind of maybe get like a new. It's planned obsolescence, so you have to get like a new one every year or something like that. And then there's all the controversy with Allie where she's like, I can't get you anything like new like that, and she's kind of stuck in that. Where it was like before she had plenty of money. She works for the post office. She has money from the house, the big house she sold in Oakland, and the tavern thing and stuff. And it's just like it's all like a lie. But it's just one of those things. It's just like people go, yeah, stick it to him, Greg. It's just like, well, what are you doing about it? Okay, so I got to do this. This is like the third time I've done this where it's at about that level, and then it gets down to about like there after I clean it. Probably film myself when I'm doing it, talking. Okay. That's the new thing I just put in. That's the new thing I put in, but it may already be like a bit late in a sense. It's just to the point now where it like runs slow. So what I did was I just I just go ahead and hit the clean button, and then it works fine for like a while. Sometimes it's just minutes, and then about 20 minutes later or whatever, it like messes up again or something. So I'm putting out these posters with like you're failing, your leadership's failing and stuff like that. I'm getting feedback from the news that it like works. I think there's like a thing in this that just gets no criticism. Nobody tells these people or somebody you're failing and this isn't working. They don't want to hear it. They never hear it. They don't hear any of this kind of stuff. Where it's one particular person or something, and they're not used to anybody like talking back at them. I'm putting in large letters in pen. You're failing. I mean, in my mind, something needs to happen here soon, or no, it should have happened already. And it's just like now all they're doing is just going through all the motions. And it's just like this is incompetence. And they have all this power and all this stuff that they're doing here, and it's just like none of it's like working. If anything, it's counter. And I can react to it and talk about it, but it's like it's not enough to get somebody irritated and to say we'll irritate the person to the point where they'll go on a date with us or something. That's not how it works. Well, you can't drug somebody, so they basically say, well, we're going to blank his whole mind, and then we'll just reprogram it like a computer. It's like, people don't work that way. That's, And while I'm on the drugs, I just go back to my spirit world, and as a First Nation, in Vancouver Island kind of stuff. They just get me to revert back more into my mind, and then when I feel like, and I get more of the drugs out where I can express myself, that's what I do. And when I realize what I need to do and put it out there, that's what I do. And it shows them all up. It's like their strategy is like completely flawed in the first place. I mean, this is a complete mess up. And it's just like as long as nobody criticizes them, even within their own thing, they can just keep going on, and if there's ever like a problem, they just buy people off. They silence them or whatever, and they can't get word out. They get bought off, and then there they go. They handle crisis as they come, one right after another. And it's just like you can't, especially now. You got to like figure something out that's going to work for you for the long term, and it may have very little to do with me. Because what might happen is I go to China and I pull those levers. I release the gas missiles because of the political liability that nobody else wants. And everybody here dies. And it's just like, you got to have a plan in place for that. Now. not just this kind of personality change or something like that. That's not either like, it's either not like good enough or it's probably counter to like what you're gonna need to do like later. And it was, 18 years ago. It was less than 20 years ago. I pretty much went to China. I went to Taiwan. I was in Singapore for 6 weeks. I was in Malaysia for a day, and I was in Japan for half an hour. Going all the way through Asia. And it's just like, next time that happens, they know who I am. I know what to do when I get there. They probably know what to do when I get there. I don't think it's going to happen again. I don't think they're going to make that same mistake again. And next time I go to mainland China, what is the plan in place right now when that happens? Because it's probably going to happen. They depend on China. They depend on this, that, and the other stuff. All stuff around on the outside of this place. Here. To bring things in here, like people and stuff. And out there can stop or make it difficult. This is like, and this isn't working. The more it doesn't work, the easier it is for people out there to cut off resources for here. What are you doing for that plan for me going to China? I see stuff too with paper and stuff that I put out. It's usually they react to things, not even so much while I'm like writing this stuff. I actually have to go out, put it up on signs, and then it's like, and then the daylight comes in, and it's like people start making phone calls, and then they get like more upset about it. It's just like, you need to get upset about it before I put this stuff out, like when I write about the night before. And for allies with this, that, or the other name that you throw around, I'm kind of like, what were you doing in the 80s to correct things? What were you doing in the 90s or 2000s? A whole lot of nothing. Yeah, a whole lot of nothing. Well, who knows who's the real one of you? Well, you're all social workers now, and you need to make sure that when you give away something like Social Security, everybody on there gets an adequate amount. Say $1,400 a month as opposed to $700. When I only get $700 a month, you're trying to keep this thing covered up. And if I have to write about it, and then you go, oh, now we're free to speak about it, hooray. And it's just like, no, you need to be more proactive about this kind of stuff if you're going to have this, that, or the other kind of name attached to yourself, and have so for the last 40 years or even longer. Okay. Yeah, see, it's kind of slow. What are you talking about? I'm talking about with Maud and that kid with the bucket at Laurelhurst. Well, we can't see it. Tell us. It's right here. That's your focus on everybody else needs to focus on. Or just simply get me to China. Either way, I don't really particularly care. And a lot of this stuff will get seen like later once I get over there. I can write about it and talk about it probably pretty soon. Maybe. Although probably not. What are you doing? What's your plan in place to keep me from going to having somebody do something here that could get me over there? Well, we got plenty of time for that. That could happen like next year. Okay, then it'll happen next year. What is your plan in place? You're failing. It didn't work, and you're still doing stuff that doesn't work because it makes you feel empowered. But it can't be just about feeling, though. One of these days, this body will go back to Asia, which I've been before. I was there in 1999, and I'm gonna go there again. You've got to have a plan in place to stop that, perhaps, and then what are you gonna do when that happens? Because I don't think China's gonna give me up once I get over there, and I don't want to leave once I get over there until this place gets gassed. I mean, next time I'm here, there are bodies all over the place, or maybe they've just gotten cleaned up, and then I get my house in Vancouver. It's gonna happen. What are you gonna do about it? Oh, she's gone. I didn't even notice when she left. Okay. Yeah. Let's do. Okay. Let's see. Where's Derek? See, there's the FBI guy. Look at the butt. Hey, that might be on. Karina Mall.
Because I was respectful of I didn't know it was just me. So I thought other guys, I thought there was going to be one other guy.
Because I pay attention with the camera, they go, aha, gaslighting, here we go. But it's like, you gotta do a little bit more than this. I'm calling you a failure to your face and all your followers that are out there. You can't allow this to continue. Even this is sort of like, it needs to be almost more insultive, or you had to like throw punches or something. I guess you couldn't do that, but I don't know. Just do something.
Well, I was happy. I was happy to keep Boston. I saw that myself. I was happy to keep Boston.
Okay.
It was really short and sweet.